Welcome to the Magic on the Inside podcast by the Sisters Enchanted, where we chat magic, hot topics, personal development, and good old-fashioned life. Brew up something delicious and sit with us for a spell. Welcome to this episode of the Magic on the Inside podcast. I'm Sarah, founder of the Sisters Enchanted, and I'm joined today by my alter ego, Sarah. No.
Yeah, we're getting known as Sarah Squared. I've seen a few posts in our community.
It's Sarah Milne, our lovely program director, astrologer extraordinaire, all the things here at the Sisters Enchanted. Hello, Sarah.
Hello, how are you doing, Sarah?
I am doing well. And even better because Sagittarius season.
Yeah.
We're both Sagittarius.
Yeah, in fact, your birthday this week, isn't it? So happy birthday, Sarah.
Yeah. Well, yes. Well, the 4th, my birthday is the 14th. So
14th. I was thinking 4th in my head for some reason. So
no, the 14th. Yeah. We're getting there though. It will be during this waning waxing. The waxing. Like, are we waxing or waning for a second? I had to do in my head, wait, what's that? Waxing is growing, waning is going down. Yeah. I'll be during this waxing portion. So we will be covering that astrology here. All right. Yes. 2 Sagittariuses walk into a bar and I don't know.
Start a party.
Yeah. Shenanigans ensues.
Pull everyone off on an adventure.
All right. Well, this is it's a solar eclipse, Sagittarius new moon. Why don't you start telling us about it?
Yeah, so this has been going through really since the spring, since May and June. We had these eclipses involving Sagittarius and Gemini, and we've really felt it. I know that we have. I know so. Sarah and I know have really felt this. It's been a big year of change. Like eclipses bring change. They can bring unexpected change. We can work with them to bring change. And for us that are Sagittarius and Gemini, it will hit us particularly strongly. And I know that both Sarah and I have really felt this. Sarah, we've reached the end now. We've reached the end of this season. I know for me it really has been a crazy one.
It was, yeah. I was just in our work chat. We have a chat where we all talk. And I just found 3 things. I was like, this is what I'm going to focus on. These 3 little wins. I think I actually said, I'm going to focus on these things. We say this here in the US. I don't know if you say it. We say cool your jets when someone's really, hot and bothered or just angsty. So I said, I'm going to focus on these 3 things to cool my angsty jets.
Yeah, it's been a year of change, and you can see where you have Gemini and Sagittarius in your birth chart. That's maybe where you felt the change the most. And I have a lot of Sagittarius in my house 4, and I've moved, and my Gemini is there in my house 11, and it has been I really have felt these huge big changes in the whole of my life, and particularly in those areas, but we've reached the end. So it's really a good idea now to look back at where you were and the changes that have happened to you during May, June, and to now, during that whole phase, and sort of where you're at now. And it's a good time now to look back and reflect on where these changes have taken you and any lessons that you might need to learn from that. The moon is eclipsing the sun right now for this final part of the eclipse, which means that we've got that emotional, intuitive part of us kind of eclipsing that sort of go, egotistical kind of quick, let's go and create ourselves in the world. So it's a good time to sit back and reflect and look back and on the intuitive and emotional journey that you've been on through this eclipse time. And then if there's any shadow work that maybe you need to do, if there's been change, what lessons have you learned in that change, and what shadow work do you need to do? Where was it your fault? We can, it's easy to say, well, yeah, life changed so much for me this year, and it was all not my fault. But with this lunar eclipse in the sun, it's a good time to intuitively and emotionally, where do I need to learn the lessons, and how can I make sure that I move forward now from whatever's happened during this period of change, that I can move forward now and make the healthiest intentions and learn any lessons that I need to learn from that time.
Yeah. I like it. This has definitely been a challenging year, that's for sure. So,
Yeah.
and we have what I love about Sagittarius lunar cycle, the
Mm.
Sagittarius new moon cycle, is it includes Yule also,
Mhm. It
which
does.
is amazing because Yule is like this, it's like the new moon in and of itself,
Yeah.
seasonally, where we set intentions, and that this, what you're talking about with the eclipses and doing the
Mhm.
shadow work to see like what did I learn? Where do I still need to grow? What have I been maybe blaming, but is really something I need to look at? And then this adventurous energy of Sagittarius and like going after your dreams or what it is that you want, combined with Yule on the 21st, it's just a really powerful time.
It really is. It really is. This is a really good time to be reflective and to do that shadow work, and to think about what you're, because it's like this darkest time of the year, that's where we have all our potential stored. So the things that we can create in the future, this is time to really like think back and think deep as well about what is my potential in this world and what am I not realizing and what do I want to bring out as we move forward. And it's interesting because Mars is squaring with Jupiter as well during this time. So just after during the week after this eclipse, we get Mars squaring with Jupiter, and of course Jupiter is the ruling planet of Sagittarius. So we're getting this squaring up, and we've talked about squares where we have this kind of boxing ring where people are kind of like pushing each other into corners and trying to sort of like get on and like work together, but hustling each other, like pushing each other around. And so this is really interesting because this is like the planet of expansion is squaring up with our planet of motivation and action. So this is kind of like, it's interesting because this is an energy that wants us to get started with new projects, although the kind of where we are in the circle of the year, it's not really a time to act. So but it is going to make us feel more courageous and more willing to take more risks for achieving things and for achieving those desires. So, but we have to make sure that our risks are balanced because Jupiter will want us to go take all these risks. So we need to be balanced with caution and make sure we don't jump into anything too impulsively. But this is very fiery energy for this time of year. So you might want to try and utilize that energy to think about how you could push yourself. When we always talk about like this is my potential in life and I'm not pushing myself enough. I could be more courageous and I could push myself further to realize more of this potential.
Yeah, I like that. And I think that too, because this part of the year, especially at these few weeks from now until right around the full moon, which is right before Yule. So these last 2 weeks here, it's the waxing portion of this lunar cycle, but it's really the waning of the season, of the year. So it's looking at that fire. I think too, if you can take all that motivation you're feeling to really think creatively and outside the box, and our intention to intuition model, our 5 eyes spiral, we call it, that we teach in holistic witchery and in really all of our programs, it's embedded in there. But we talk about this as the ideate phase, which is creation. Like we're taking bits and pieces of what worked, what didn't work, and then using our magical tools, maybe even, and setting the crystal grids and doing the things to like reimagine what life could look like or what it is we want to create and set intentions for. So using that energy, I think, would be great to really think like, well, I've always thought it had to be this way, but what if I was really wild and motivated like Mars and expansive like Jupiter and fiery like a Sagittarius? Like what if, what would I be really wild and crazy and put together for myself?
Absolutely true. And Sagittarius loves adventure. So it's kind of like, what if I could go on the biggest adventure of my life? And, an adventure that's going to really like help me to realize my biggest potential in life.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, this is a funny side story. I was on a hike with my kids last week, or last weekend. I don't know. It was a bit ago now, but recently, and they had just been in the house all day, and I impromptu decided to take them out. And there's this hiking trail near where I live, and I'd never been there, but I knew it was there. So I thought to myself, well, instead of driving farther, because it was getting close to sunset, let me look this up and see where it is. And we went there, and we had never done it. So we picked away and we started walking. Well, it was uphill, and we came to this like it was basically like a cliff with like a 1-foot walking path along it. It was very narrow and very dicey with a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old. And eventually my daughter turns around and she was like, Mom, I know you love adventures, but I don't think this is the time for one. I was like, I think you're right. I think you're right, my child. I think we need to
love
go
that.
back.
That is just the sort of thing that my kids would say as well. I think like Sagittarius is sort of like having a Sagittarius parent.
Yeah. Like this is too much.
Yeah.
It's not
Oh.
safe. What is she? I think she's a Libra rising.
Yeah.
She's a Cancer sun.
Oh.
So
Yes, it's got that. Brilliant. I love
yeah,
it. I love it.
settle down, Mom.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love it. We also have Mars moving into Sagittarius as well. So Mars squares with Jupiter, and then Mars moves into Sagittarius. So that adventure, I think she may be saying some more, Mum, like this isn't a time for adventure. Because Mars is going to really like motivate. When Mars is in Sagittarius, we're going to be really motivated by these adventurous side of us, and driven by a conquest and a sense of adventure, and also like connecting with things that are bigger than ourselves. And we might find that routine and details are a bit boring, and so you're going to need her to remind you of those importance of routines and details for sure. Because if we abandon them, because it's very, when Mars is in Sagittarius, we may want to just abandon all that and just start projects with gusto and then burn out and not quite be able to realize them, or just realize that we've got on an adventure like you were warned, an adventure that wasn't really sensible.
Yeah. Sarah, I feel like you and I need to take that to heart, because I have a bad habit of getting bored with structure and then like undoing my structure for no good reason.
I actually like it. This again, it's really funny because we have these conversations and we're two Sagittarius energies, but Sarah's the one that brings me the structure. Sarah's the one that says track your time. And I really love it. And it's funny because maybe that's one of those things. Maybe like when people say that you can't take these things from certain people, maybe if someone that was very, very Capricorn and Virgo dominated, or you said that we must do all these structures, and my Sagittarius wouldn't be able to cope with it. But maybe because the Sagittarius is telling me to be more structured, I'm like, hey, this really works for me. I'm enjoying this structure.
Yeah, but like it's weird though, because we're being more structured so we can be more free. So I think that's the thing about it, is it's like it's interesting because we have a lot of structure. Well, we're trying to have a lot of structure here at the Sisters Enchanted, but it's because I want complete schedule freedom and I want complete like time off freedom. But to do that, we have to be super structured. So maybe that's the thing that like lets it slide for us, because there's a Sagittarius reward at the end.
There is absolutely, yeah. I think that exactly works. I can see that's how that's working for me for sure. Like, this is my adventure time. I'm allowed this. Absolutely.
Funny.
Yeah. So Mars moves into Sagittarius, and then Mercury is actually leaving Sagittarius at the sort of around the same time. And Mercury's moving into Capricorn. We were just talking about Capricorn energy there. So that's going to help us in a minute. So we were just talking about some Capricorn type of structure coming into all this fire and all this sense of adventure. So Mars is really, really wanting us to be motivated by our sense of adventure. But Capricorn, with Mercury in Capricorn, our logical mind and our thinking and our communication will be a little bit more like, okay, yeah, that's a really exciting adventure, but make some plans first. So we're going to need that. Mercury in Capricorn is going to be our saving grace, I think, for a while. But the danger there, particularly with Mars in fire, because of course Mars in Sagittarius is double fire. So Mars is really especially fire right now, and Mars can make us, when Mars also has that shadow side, of course, of frustration, venting our frustration and anger, and so we might want to be careful because Mercury in Capricorn will want to speak its mind. And with Mars in fire, just be careful that speaking your mind isn't done out of venting in that heat of the moment.
I think I should probably just stay home for a couple weeks, just like lay low.
we can just say, I'm really sorry that I said that so thoroughly, because that wasn't my fault. That was Mars. That was Mars in Sagittarius and Mercury in Capricorn that made me do it. It's like, we had those t-shirts, the full moon made me do it. And we now need one that says all that.
I know. I'm no longer in control of my own self.
So that's what's on deck for us this time.
Oh, well, it sounds like a lot of opportunity,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. A lot of
opportunity. And a perfect time for opportunity.
Yeah,
absolutely. 'Tis the season.
Yeah, absolutely. And just that end of that cycle as well. So if there has been change after change after change, or you've been on a cycle of change that started back in May, this is the end. Now we can reflect back on it and move forward.
Goodness. I'm so sick of change right now. That's not a very Sagittarius thing to say, I feel like, but I'm so sick of change.
Although I say that, there is something else that has been impacting that change that we're going to talk about in the next podcast, because it's coming up for us in between that Gemini full moon and that first Capricorn new moon of the year. So
delightful.
So come tune in next time for more on this change that's been going through this year, and why you might have had the kind of year that felt like everything was breaking down over and over and over again, and reforming and breaking again and reforming.
It was definitely my year.
It has, but you'll be glad to know we're at the end of that too. So come and tune in next time to hear more about that.
If you love what Sarah's talking about and all this astrology stuff and the reflections we're making about the connections to our lives, you should definitely check out our Yule program. It's called a Soul-Led Yule. It's open for registration right now. We'll make sure the link is everywhere. But there's two options when you register. There's our Yule program, which is it's like videos. It's got like I think it's 45 to 50 pages, the workbook, tons of activities, all about not only Yule celebrations, but also setting intentions for this time of year. And there's a second option. It's an upgraded option, and you actually get 2 live classes or sessions, I guess. It's as a group, so they're group meetings. But one of them, Sarah Milne here, is going to talk through the astrology of the year ahead, where you can really think like you can have your birth chart with you and start to consider what it is that you want to think about in terms of your intention setting. And then you'll have a session, a group time. It's a group call where we will go through planning the intentions for the year ahead with me. And you can have that tool from Sarah first, plus you get all the goodness of Yule. And if you register for the option with the live classes, we're also going to send you a pretty cool little magical cloth with the intention theme designed here at the Sisters Enchanted. So it's pretty exciting stuff.
It's really cool. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah. So if you are like, hey, I want to make those astrological connections to my own life, then you need to be in that class.
Yes.
Yes. All right, then. Well, we'll link that up. Make sure that you like, subscribe, all those things, and definitely tune into the next episode, because Sarah apparently is going to upend us a little bit, and we all need to hear what that's about. All right. Thank you, Sarah, for being here.
You're welcome.
All right, everyone. Until next time, we hope that you have an enchanted rest of your day ahead.